stability. Against this backdrop and based on our continuing assessment of the macroeconomic situation and financial market conditions, certain additional measures are being announced today. The details of these measures are set out in the Statement on Developmental and Regulatory Policies, which is Part B of the Monetary Policy Statement. As you would be aware, my statement, which I am making just now, together with the statement of the MPC and the additional measures which we are announcing, which are Part B of the MPC resolution, all of them will be uploaded on the RBI website immediately after my statement is over. Now the additional measures are as follows. The first one relates to on-tap liquidity window for contact-intensive sectors. In order to mitigate the adverse impact of the second wave of the pandemic on certain contact-intensive sectors, a separate liquidity window of rupees 15,000 crore is being opened till 31st March 2022 with tenors of up to 3 years at the repo rate. Under the scheme, banks can provide fresh lending support to hotels and restaurants, tourism, that is travel agents, tour operators and adventure and heritage facilities, aviation ancillary services, that is ground handling and supply chain, and other services that include private bus operators, car repair services, rent-a-car service providers, event or conference organizers, spa clinics, and beauty parlors and saloons. By way of an incentive, banks will be permitted to park their surplus liquidity up to a size of the loan book created under this scheme with the Reserve Bank under the reverse repo window at a rate which is 25 basis points lower than the repo rate, or termed in a different way, 40 basis points higher than the reverse repo rate. And from the list, it can be seen that most of the entities, most of the borrowing units under these categories would qualify to be MSMEs. So they will also get, such of them which have the required turnover within the MSME limit will automatically get classified under the priority sector lending classification of the banks. The second measure relates to special liquidity facility to the SIDB. To nurture the still nascent growth impulses and ensure continued flow of credit to real economy, the Reserve Bank had extended fresh support of rupees 50,000 crore, 50,000 crore on 7th April to all India financial institutions for new lending in 2021-22. This included 15,000 crore to Small Industries Development Bank of India, that is SIDB, to further support the funding requirements of micro, small and medium enterprises, that is MSMEs, particularly smaller MSMEs and other businesses, including those in credit deficient and aspirational districts. It has been decided to extend a special liquidity facility of rupees 16,000 crore to SIDB for on-lending or refinancing through novel models and structures. The details, of course, will be spelled out by the SIDB in their own, through their own circulars and communications. This facility and this announcement is based on our discussion with SIDB. This facility will be available at the prevailing repo rate for a period of up to 1 year, which may be further extended depending on its usage. The next announcement relates to enhancement of the exposure thresholds under Resolution Framework 2.0. The Resolution Framework 2.0 announced by the Reserve Bank on 5th of May provides for resolution of COVID-19 related stress of MSMEs as well as non-MSME small businesses and loans to individuals for business purposes. With a view to enabling a larger set of borrowers to avail of the benefits under the Resolution Framework 2.0, it has been decided to expand the coverage of borrowers under the scheme by enhancing the maximum aggregate exposure threshold from 25 crore to rupees 50 crore for MSMEs, non-MSME small businesses, and loans to individuals for business purposes. The next measure relates to placement of margins for government securities transactions on behalf of the foreign portfolio investors. The Reserve Bank has been taking several measures to encourage investments by FPIs, that is foreign portfolio investors, in the Indian debt market. With a view to easing operational constraints faced by FPIs and promoting ease of doing business, it has been decided to permit authorized dealer banks to place margins on behalf of their FPI clients for their transactions in government securities, including state development loans and treasury bills, within the credit risk management framework of the banks. The next announcement, the next measure relates to facilitating flexibility in liquidity management by issuers of certificates of deposits. In December 2020, regional rural banks were permitted to access the liquidity windows of the Reserve Bank as well as the call and notice money market in order to facilitate more efficient liquidity management by the regional rural banks, that is RRBs, at competitive rates. To provide greater flexibility in raising short-term funds by RRBs, it has now been decided to permit RRBs to issue certificates of deposit. It has also been decided that all issuers of certificates of deposits, that is CDs, will be permitted to buy back their CDs before maturity subject to certain conditions. This will facilitate greater flexibility in liquidity management. The next announcement, and this is the last one, relates to availability of National Automated Clearing House, NAC. I repeat, National Automated Clearing House, NAC, on all days of the week. NAC, a bulk payment system operated by the NPCI, facilitates one-to-many and also many-to-one credit transfers such as payment of dividend, interest, salary, pension, etc., as also collection of payments pertaining to electricity, gas, telephone, water, periodic installments towards loans, investments in mutual funds, insurance premium, etc. NAC has emerged as a popular and prominent mode of direct benefit transfer, that is DBT, to large number of beneficiaries. This has helped transfer of government subsidies during the present COVID-19 in a timely and transparent manner. In order to further enhance customer convenience and to leverage the 24/7 availability of RTGS, NAC, which is currently available on bank working days, is proposed to be made available on all working days of the week. I correct myself. It is now proposed to be made available on all days of the week effective from 1st August. So till now it was available on the bank working days. Now it will be available even on bank holidays. The relevant instructions, circulars for all these measures will be issued separately. Let me now conclude my statement today. In the year gone by, the Reserve Bank has engaged in safeguarding the economy and the financing system from the ravages of the pandemic. We have been on continuous vigil through the first wave, the lull between the waves, and now in the second wave. Maintaining financial stability and congenial financing conditions for all stakeholders is a commitment that we have adhered to assiduously. The sudden rise in COVID-19 infections and fatalities has impaired the nascent recovery that was underway, but has not snuffed it out. The impulses of growth are still alive. Aggregate supply conditions have shown resilience in the face of the second wave. We will continue to think and act out of the box, planning for the worst and hoping for the best. The measures announced today, in conjunction with other steps taken so far, are expected to reclaim the growth trajectory from which we have slid. Looking ahead, a policy package to consolidate India's position as vaccine capital of the world with leadership in production of pharma products can change the COVID-19 narrative. The need of the hour is not to be overwhelmed by the current situation, but to collectively overcome it. Amidst the uncertainty and the lingering gloom, there have been many instances of rare courage and indomitable spirit, entrenching a strong faith in the future of our nation. Our resilience, our conviction, and our hope can best be summed up in the words of Mahatma Gandhi, and I quote, "I have never lost my optimism. In seemingly darkest hours, hope has burnt bright within me." Thank you. Stay safe, stay well. Namaskar.
गवर्नर शक्तिकांता दास साहब ने उम्मीद के मुताबिक ज्यादातर सेक्टर्स को, सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को कुछ ना कुछ